Stephen Edwards breaks down Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia rehydration clause. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Cardinal Red Sports. Let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So it seems like everybody's talking about the rehydration clause within the Ryan Garcia Gervonta Davis fight once again, and I just wanted to give my 2 cents and break down what Stephen Edwards had to say about rehydration in boxing and why it really shouldn't matter that much to either fighter. Alright, so Stephen Edwards basically said that rehydration clauses within boxing really shouldn't matter. What should matter is what you weigh when you step into the ring. Now, there's going to be 2 weigh-ins for the Ryan Garcia Gervonta Davis fight. I don't know the exact timing of both the weigh-ins, but I do know that on the day of the fight, he has to weigh 136 pounds. Now, I don't know if they're weighing him in the morning, like Stephen Edwards said, or they're weighing him later on in the afternoon. But I would say that part, it does play a role. And Stephen Edwards actually agreed with that. He said that it would only matter if you have your second weigh-in hours before the fight. Now, it's going to be hours before the fight anyway, but 15 hours is different from 5 or 6 hours before the fight. He was saying if you have to come in on fight day and you weigh in at, let's say, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and you have to be 136, you can immediately start to rehydrate up to whatever weight you can comfortably get to by the time the fight actually pops off. But he was also saying that if they weigh him in 5, 6 hours before the fight, then that could play a role because you're not able to put enough water weight on. He was saying that you want to be able to rehydrate up with as much water weight as you possibly can to protect your brain, because you don't want your brain bouncing around in your head without any water protecting it. So that was one of the reasons he gave for why the weigh-in really shouldn't matter. Now, I spoke about this in a previous video, and we all know that the fight is happening at 136. Ryan Garcia isn't happy with that. He wanted to fight at 140. So I assumed that he wanted to rehydrate past 150, 154, and that's what Stephen Edwards was saying as well, that since the fight is at 136, he's going to be allowed to rehydrate up to 146. Now, if they weigh him in at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, then he has all day to rehydrate. And he was saying something about Khalid Plant, that when he goes to make weight, when he goes to make 168, he's only making 168 for 1 hour, and that's just to weigh in for the fight. So he's never 168 for more than 1 hour. So it really shouldn't matter what the weight limit is set at, because he's never actually really walking around at that weight for more than like 40 minutes. And if Ryan Garcia is able to rehydrate from 136 all the way up to 146 or beyond, maybe even 154, I think that's kind of ridiculous. But I think they set the limit to where he can rehydrate at, it is to 146. Now, I don't know if that's a permanent limit, because Stephen Edwards was saying the same thing. He doesn't know what the parameters surrounding the weight limit actually is. So is he able to, make weight 136? They weigh him in 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. And he can immediately rehydrate up to 146. But is he allowed to go past the 146? Because those extra pounds, I think, are what Ryan Garcia is actually looking for. If he's able to go past 146 to up into the 150s on fight night, then that's a huge advantage for him. And I don't think that's even fair, you know what I'm saying? But if it's allowed within the rules, and I can't remember exactly what Mario Barrios weighed in at on fight night off the top of my head. I need to go look that up. But if he was able to go past the 146 mark, because they actually fought at 140. So if he was actually able to come in at like 150 something, beyond 150, then, you know, and Gervonta was able to still beat him, I don't think it would really matter for Ryan Garcia. I actually think it would hurt Ryan Garcia because he's going to be a lot slower than what he would be if he was actually trimmed down a few pounds. But it could be an advantage in punching power. Now, we all know that they're calling for a knockout. They're saying that Ryan Garcia is going to knock him out. Has Ryan Garcia been knocking all these other guys out because he's been able to rehydrate up way past 150 pounds? I don't really follow him that much, so I haven't really watched a lot of his, you know, weigh-ins or what they say he weighs on fight night. So that's something I would have to ask of the community out there who watches this video. Y'all let me know if you've actually followed Ryan. What's his average weight that he comes into the ring at? Because I think that's really going to matter in this fight. If he's able to go up to let's just say he comes in at 155 and he beats Gervonta Davis, would you say it was the rehydration that beat Gervonta? Because we don't know what Gervonta is going to come into the ring at. Now, both guys have the ability to rehydrate up to 146. You know, I don't know if they can go beyond 146, but if both of them can make 146 by the time of the fight, they're both allowed to make that. So it's going to be crazy to see how that part plays out, because I do think what Stephen Edwards was saying, it makes a lot of sense. He was even saying that once Khalid Plant does hit that 168, he immediately rehydrates up. He's normally rehydrating up about 10 pounds, so he's really around 178 on fight, around the fight time, and maybe even beyond that. So I've said in the past that most fighters, they don't fight where they walk around. They either fight lower or they fight sometimes a little higher, but they normally don't fight where they walk around. And Ryan Garcia, I don't know why he's still trying to make 130 pounds when he obviously can make a higher weight. He should be at like 147, actually running at welterweight. But it is what it is. I heard Tim Bradley had a few things to say. He said he shouldn't have accepted the rehydration clause. You wanted to fight him, and he's the A side. You're not the A side, so you got to meet him where he felt the most comfortable. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. Hit that like button for me. Share, subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. More than likely to get a response on the tube, so holler at me over there. If you want to collabo, hit my Gmail, flockofcards@gmail.com. And we are out of here.
If you're from the field, you know I'm fucking with you. If you're from Kentucky, you know I'm fucking with you. You ain't never heard of me, you wanna get familiar. Well, my nigga, let me paint a picture. 12 motherfuckers splitting 3 bedrooms. Dang, my nigga, let me get some leg room. Every single night we watch the 10 o'clock news. Young black man murdered over tennis shoes. Every year we move to a brand new hood. Had to fight a nigga just to make it understood. Bitch, I learned to fight from Wayne and your knuckle. First thing they taught me, nigga, swing if you touch it. Moved out of town when I turned 19. Seen $400 pounds of light green. Moved back home before I turned 20. I guess you could say that was the birth of Louis Keys. It was time to let these niggas know my name. Young Real introduced me to the game. He was rapping too big back in the day. When they had Daddy Yo and Hurricane, they was getting beats from Willie Will and Lil J. Can't forget Young Sirs, they did they thing. That motivated me to do the same, and I did it. Spit it so clean, they thought I came from a dentist.